some giant cataclysm just wiped out this entire area. Archaeologists are baffled by what Puma Punku was.
Deep in the high Andes of Bolivia lies Puma Punku, an ancient site of massive stones and perfect shapes that baffled experts for centuries. Who built it, and how did they move and carve such heavy stones? Was it aliens, lost civilizations, or human genius? Join us as we uncover the amazing secrets of Puma Punku and its hidden story. The lost doorway of the high Andes. High on the wide and quiet plains of western Bolivia sits a place that feels both calm and powerful at the same time. This place is called Puma Punku, a name that means door of the Puma. It is part of the Great Tiwanaku Complex, one of the most important ancient sites in South America. The land around it is open and cold, with big skies that seem to stretch forever. Even before seeing the stones, many visitors feel that Puma Punku is not an ordinary place. It feels like a doorway to something older, deeper, and full of meaning. Puma Punku stands on the Andean Altiplano, close to the blue waters of Lake Titicaca. The site sits at an altitude of about 3,850 meters above sea level. At this height, the air is thin and the land is harsh. Yet ancient people chose this place for something special. Puma Punku was not built alone. It was part of the wider Tiwanaku Ceremonial Center, a place where large gatherings, rituals, and important events once took place. This shows that the site mattered deeply to the people who built it. The stones of Puma Punku are scattered across the ground like pieces of a giant puzzle. Some lie flat, some stand tall, and others seem broken yet still powerful. Long ago, these stones formed carefully planned structures. Time, weather, and human activity changed their positions, but their presence remains strong. Even in their fallen state, they show skill, care, and deep planning. The site does not shout about its importance. Instead, it quietly invites people to look closer. The first known European to describe Puma Punku was Pedro Chiesa de Leon in the year 1549. When he saw the site, he was amazed by what stood before him. He could not understand how such large stones were shaped and placed in such a remote place. His report sparked curiosity that never faded. From that moment on, Puma Punku entered written history and became a subject of wonder for people far beyond the Andes. Over the centuries, scholars, travelers, and researchers returned to Puma Punku again and again. Some came with notebooks, others with tools, and many with questions. Books were written, drawings were made, and later videos spread across the world. Puma Punku slowly gained a reputation as one of the greatest ancient mysteries on Earth. Some explanations were careful and scientific, others were wild and imaginative. Yet all of them showed the same thing. This place refuses to be ignored. The fascination comes from many reasons. The site looks advanced, even by modern standards. It sits in a place where life is difficult, yet it was clearly built with purpose and care. It feels planned, not accidental. People often wonder why such effort was used here and what the builders wanted to achieve. Puma Punku makes people question what ancient civilizations were truly capable of doing. At the heart of this fascination lies one simple question. Has the puzzle of Puma Punku finally been solved? And if it has, what does that solution tell us about ancient people? As the doorway opens wider, the true shock lies not in where Puma Punku stands, but in how its stones were shaped with a precision that still challenges the modern world. Engineering that defies expectations. Walking among the stones of Puma Punku feels like stepping into a place where logic pauses for a moment. The ground is covered with massive blocks, each one heavy, sharp, and carefully shaped. Some of these stones weigh as much as 131 metric tons. Their size alone is enough to stop people in their tracks. It is hard to imagine how ancient builders could move, lift, and place such enormous pieces of stone. The stones are made mainly of andesite and red sandstone. These materials are strong and durable, but also very difficult to shape. Yet at Puma Punku, they are cut with smooth surfaces and straight lines. Edges meet cleanly, corners align perfectly. Many stones fit together so well that they seem to lock into place without the need for mortar. This level of precision creates a sense of calm beauty. Nothing looks rushed or careless. Everything feels intentional. Among the most famous stones at the site are the so-called H-shaped blocks. These stones are carefully carved with deep grooves, sharp angles, and repeating forms. Some of them have up to about 80 separate faces. Each face is measured and shaped to fit with others. When laid together, these blocks create strong connections, like parts of a giant stone system. Their design shows planning, balance, and a deep understanding of form. What makes this even more fascinating is the mystery of the tools. Archaeologists have never found the actual tools used to carve these stones. No metal blades or cutting devices have been discovered at the site. This absence raises many questions. How were such hard stones shaped so cleanly? How were angles kept so exact? The lack of physical tools adds to the sense of wonder that surrounds Puma Punku. Researchers have turned to experimental archaeology to find answers. By testing ancient methods, they discovered that tools such as hammerstones, stone chisels, and sand abrasion could explain some of the work. With enough time, patience, and skill, these simple tools can shape stone with surprising accuracy. These experiments show that advanced results do not always need advanced machines. Still, even with these explanations, the craftsmanship remains impressive. The consistency across many stones suggests shared knowledge and careful training. The builders followed clear rules and measurements. They worked with focus and care. Every cut mattered. Every angle had a purpose. This level of discipline speaks of a society that valued order and beauty. The real mystery is not magic or lost technology. It is human dedication. How could a civilization without steel tools or a written tradition create shapes so exact that they rival modern engineering? Quarrying and transport, a monumental puzzle. Puma Punku is not only a story of carved stone, it is also a story of movement, effort, and deep planning. When people look closely at the site, one question rises again and again. How did the stones get here? The answer is not simple, and that is what makes it so fascinating. The stones used at Puma Punku did not all come from nearby ground. Red sandstone was taken from quarries about 10 kilometers away from the site. That distance alone would have been difficult in a land with thin air and cold winds. Yet the story becomes even more remarkable with the andesite stones. These stones came from across Lake Titicaca, nearly 90 kilometers away. This means the builders did not simply use what was close. They chose specific stone types for specific purposes. This choice shows clear intention. Red sandstone is easier to shape and was likely used for large base blocks. Andesite is much harder and stronger, making it ideal for precise cuts and locking shapes. Selecting different stones from different places required knowledge, planning, and confidence. The builders knew exactly what they wanted before the first stone was moved. The transport of these stones is one of the greatest puzzles of Puma Punku. There is no evidence that the Tiwanaku people used the wheel for heavy transport. There is also no sign of large animals that could pull stones weighing many tons. The land between the quarries and the site includes hills, uneven ground, and water. Even today, moving such stones would be a major task. Because of this, many people have asked the same question for centuries. How did they do it? Scholars have offered careful answers based on what is known about ancient societies. These ideas focus on human strength, teamwork, and patience. Large groups of people may have used thick ropes made from plant fibers. Wooden rollers or sleds could have helped slide stones across the land. Ramps made of earth and stone may have eased movement over slopes. Crossing Lake Titicaca adds another layer to the mystery. The lake is wide and deep, yet ancient people were skilled builders of reed boats. These boats were strong enough to carry people and goods. It is believed that stones could have been moved part of the way by water, then dragged across land once they reached the shore. This method would have required careful timing, balance, and coordination. Alongside these scholarly ideas, there have been more dramatic theories. Some people suggest unknown technologies or lost knowledge. These ideas often sound exciting, but they lack solid evidence. Archaeology relies on what can be tested and traced. The simpler explanations, based on human labor and known techniques, fit best with the evidence found so far. Another important part of the puzzle is the location of Tiwanaku itself. The city sits high above ancient waterways and far from dense forests. At first glance, it seems like an unlikely place to build a major stone center. Yet this choice may have been deliberate. Tiwanaku stood at the heart of a wide network of people, farms, and routes. Its location allowed it to control movement, and connect different regions. The land around Tiwanaku supported advanced farming systems. Raised fields helped grow food in difficult conditions. This meant large groups of workers could be fed and supported. With food security came the ability to plan big projects that took many years. Puma Punku was not built in a hurry. It was the result of steady effort over time. If the journey of the stones reveals patience and strength, the next question reveals something even deeper. Who were the people capable of such a feat? The Tiwanaku revelation. Who built Puma Punku? For a long time, Puma Punku was treated like a riddle without an answer. Many wondered who could have built something so precise and powerful. Over time, careful study brought clarity. The mystery did not disappear, but it became grounded in history. Radiocarbon dating provided an important breakthrough. Organic material found within the foundational layers of Puma Punku was tested. The results showed that the site was built between about 536 and 600 of the Common Era. This places its construction firmly within the time of the Tiwanaku civilization. The stones belong to a known people, not a lost age beyond memory. The Tiwanaku civilization thrived long before the rise of the Inca. From about 500 to 1000 of the Common Era, they built a strong and organized society. They developed advanced farming methods that allowed crops to grow in cold and dry conditions. They planned cities with care, using open spaces, aligned buildings, and shared centers for ritual and gathering. Tiwanaku was more than a local power. Its influence spread across a wide region of the Andes. Goods, ideas, and styles moved along trade routes. This shared culture can be seen in art, tools, and building methods found far from the city itself. Puma Punku fits naturally into this larger picture. The architecture of Puma Punku closely matches other Tiwanaku monuments. The same stone types appear again and again. The same precise cuts and repeating shapes are found across different sites. This continuity is important. It shows that Puma Punku was not built by unknown hands. It was part of a living tradition passed down through skilled workers. Some have claimed that the site was too advanced for its time. Others have suggested builders from outside this world or from a forgotten super-civilization. Archaeology does not support these ideas. The evidence points clearly to Tiwanaku engineers and craftspeople. These were people who learned through practice, observation, and teaching. Their skills grew over generations. Further support comes from the stones themselves. Some blocks show marks that match local stoneworking traditions. The way corners are shaped and surfaces are finished aligns with known techniques from the region. These details act like fingerprints. They connect Puma Punku to the wider Tiwanaku world. The real mystery is not who built it. It was people we know, but how advanced their engineering truly was. The puzzle pieces. Puma Punku was never meant to be just a collection of stones placed on open land. Everything about the site suggests purpose, care, and meaning. The layout, the pathways, and the way the stones guide movement all point to a place designed for ceremony. This was likely a sacred center within the Tiwanaku world, a space where people gathered to connect with forces larger than themselves. The Tiwanaku people believed deeply in the balance between humans, nature, and the unseen world. Puma Punku fits naturally into this belief system. It was likely used for rituals tied to Tiwanaku cosmology. These rituals may have marked important times of the year, honored ancestors, or celebrated creation and renewal. The site feels open yet controlled, inviting yet structured, which is often a sign of ceremonial design. One of the strongest clues lies in the architecture itself. Puma Punku includes gateways that were clearly meant to be passed through, not ignored. These gateways create moments of transition. When a person walked through them, they were not just moving from one space to another. They were stepping into a different state of meaning. This kind of design suggests spiritual intention. A gateway is a powerful symbol, often linked to change, rebirth, or connection with the divine. The courtyards also reveal careful planning. Their alignments are not accidental. They guide sight lines and movement, shaping how groups gathered and where attention was focused. These open spaces may have been used for large ceremonies, where many people stood together under the open sky. The way these areas relate to surrounding structures suggests they were part of a shared experience, not private spaces. Many researchers believe that celestial observation played a role in the design. The Tiwanaku people closely watched the sun, the sky, and the seasons. Their survival depended on knowing when to plant and harvest. Puma Punku may have reflected this knowledge, connecting the movement of the heavens with life on the ground. The stones may have acted as markers, helping people understand time and cosmic order. Another important question surrounds the state of the site. Some evidence suggests that Puma Punku was never fully completed. Several stones appear shaped but never set into place. Others lie scattered, as if work stopped suddenly. This raises the possibility of abrupt abandonment. Social change could have disrupted leadership or belief systems. Environmental changes could have affected farming and resources. Whatever the cause, construction seems to have ended sooner than planned. Even so, the site does not feel broken in spirit. The design still holds together. This suggests that the builders had a clear vision from the start. Puma Punku was not random or experimental. It followed a plan, even if that plan was never fully realized. Beyond ritual use, Puma Punku also shows signs of advanced planning in practical terms. The presence of stone channels and shaped blocks points to hydraulic systems. These systems may have controlled the flow of water across the site. Water could have been used for cleaning, ritual washing, or symbolic movement. In Tiwanaku's belief, water was closely linked to life and power. Guiding it through stone would have held deep meaning. The site also reflects civic organization. Building Puma Punku required cooperation across many levels of society. Workers had to be supported with food and shelter. Tasks had to be coordinated. Materials had to arrive on time. This level of organization shows that Puma Punku was part of a larger social system. It was not isolated from daily life. It was woven into it. At its heart, Puma Punku appears to have been both sacred and functional. It serves spiritual needs while also showing the strength of Tiwanaku planning. The site does not force a single answer. Instead, it invites reflection. Was Puma Punku a symbolic portal, representing a passage between the human and the divine? Or was it a physical threshold guiding real movement through sacred space? Decoding the solved mystery. For a long time, Puma Punku was surrounded by dramatic claims. Some said humans could not have built it. Others spoke of lost continents or visitors from beyond Earth. These ideas spread quickly because they were shocking and exciting. Yet archaeology is not built on excitement. It is built on evidence. Careful research has shown that these extreme ideas do not match what is found at the site. Puma Punku was built by humans. It was not created by aliens or by a vanished super-civilization. The builders were the Tiwanaku people, using knowledge developed through experience and shared across generations. This conclusion is supported by dating methods, material study, and architectural comparison. The real solution to the Puma Punku mystery is not about identity. It is about the process. Archaeology has moved away from asking who built it and toward understanding how it was built. This shift reveals a story that is far more meaningful than fantasy. Modern studies have played a key role in this understanding. Three-dimensional scanning allows researchers to examine stone surfaces with great accuracy. These scans show repeating measurements and consistent shapes across many stones. This suggests that the builders used shared measurement systems. Even without written numbers, they followed clear rules. Experimental archaeology has added another layer of insight. By recreating stoneworking techniques using tools available to the Tiwanaku, researchers have shown that precision is possible without modern machines. Stone chisels, hammerstones, and sand abrasion can shape hard stone when used with care and patience. These methods take time, but time was something the builders invested freely. Planning was essential. Puma Punku did not grow by accident. It required detailed organization. Stone had to be quarried, moved, shaped, and placed in a specific order. Workers needed training and leadership. Resources had to be managed carefully. This level of coordination reflects a strong social structure. The Tiwanaku civilization supported such efforts through advanced agriculture. Raised fields helped produce food in difficult conditions. This allowed large groups of people to work on long projects without facing hunger. Society and engineering supported each other. Even with these explanations, Puma Punku continues to amaze. It challenges the idea that ancient societies were limited or simple. Many people still assume that progress follows a straight path toward modern technology. Puma Punku shows that intelligence and creativity can take many forms. The true shock is not hidden machines or lost knowledge. It is the realization that ancient humans were far more capable than often believed. They observed their world closely. They learned from mistakes. They improved their methods. Over time, this led to results that still stand strong today. Puma Punku fascinates because it sits at the edge of understanding. We know who built it. We know roughly how it was built. Yet the scale of effort and the beauty of the result continue to inspire awe. The keepers at the threshold. Puma Punku was not only a place of heavy stones and careful engineering, it was also a place filled with symbols, guardians, and meaning. Everything connected to the platform mound suggests that this site was designed to impress, protect, and guide those who approached it. The story begins with the monoliths that stood near the heart of Puma Punku. There are at least 2 monoliths linked to the Puma Punku platform mound. One of them is known as the Puma Punku monolith, also called the Puma Punku Stela. This stone monument was discovered to the west of the Puma Punku complex. It was first recorded in photographs in the year 1876. Even in images from that time, the monolith appeared powerful and deliberate, standing as a reminder of the importance of the site. Monoliths were not placed without reason. They often marked sacred spaces, important boundaries, or areas of transition. The presence of the Puma Punku monolith suggests that this area was meant to be noticed and respected. It likely served as a marker that separated ordinary land from a place of deeper meaning. Evidence also points to the presence of sculptures known as Chachapumas guarding the entrance to Puma Punku. These figures are known from other parts of the Tiwanaku complex, especially Akapana. The Chachapumas were usually placed on andesite pedestals, positioned on either side of an entrance. This balanced placement created a strong visual message. Anyone entering would have passed directly between them. The appearance of the Chachapumas was meant to be intense. They showed traits of predatory animals, with strong bodies crouching or kneeling. Each figure held a human head in one hand and an axe in the other. These details were not gentle or symbolic in a soft way. They were bold and direct. The figures were meant to warn, protect, and enforce the sacred nature of the space beyond them. Some researchers believe that these sculptures represented the idea of sacrifice. According to this view, entering monumental structures like Puma Punku required a form of offering. Whether this was meant literally or symbolically remains unclear. What is clear is that the imagery communicated power, control, and seriousness. Puma Punku was not a place to enter without respect. Another important connection links Puma Punku to the famous Gateway of the Sun. Some scholars believe that this gateway was originally part of the Puma Punku complex. This idea comes from markings found on stones at Puma Punku that closely resemble designs on the Gateway of the Sun. These shared patterns suggest a strong relationship between the two structures. According to research by Alan Collada, the terraced platform mound carved on the Gateway of the Sun is a stylized depiction of Puma Punku itself. If this interpretation is correct, it shows that Puma Punku held a central role in Tiwanaku thought. It was important enough to be represented symbolically in one of the most iconic monuments of the culture. Further support for this idea comes from the backside of the Gateway of the Sun. The patterns carved there match designs found on stone slabs and gateways at Puma Punku. Because of these similarities, some researchers believe that the Gateway of the Sun once served as the main entrance to Puma Punku. This would mean that Puma Punku was not just another structure, but a focal point of movement, ceremony, and belief. Taken together, these elements paint a clear picture. Puma Punku was guarded by powerful images, marked by monoliths, and possibly entered through one of the most important gateways in the Tiwanaku world. Every detail suggests control, intention, and symbolism. The stones were not silent decorations. They were active participants in shaping how people experienced the space. Puma Punku was designed to be approached carefully. Each step closer would have felt heavier with meaning. The site spoke through stone, guiding visitors into a space where human life met sacred power. The human story behind the ruins. The importance of Puma Punku can only be fully understood by looking at the civilization that built it. The Tiwanaku civilization reached its peak between the years 700 and 1000 of the Common Era. During this time, the use of platform mounds and enclosures like Puma Punku was at its height. The city core and surrounding areas were able to support a population ranging from 10,000 to 20,000 people. This large population was made possible by an impressive system of infrastructure. The Tiwanaku developed a complex irrigation network that covered more than 30 square miles. This system supported the cultivation of crops such as potatoes, quinoa, corn, and other plants. These farming methods allowed people to survive and thrive in a challenging environment. At its height, the Tiwanaku culture dominated the Lake Titicaca Basin. Its influence also reached parts of what are now Bolivia and Chile. Ideas, goods, and beliefs moved across this wide region. Puma Punku stood as one of the most important centers within this cultural world. It was likely a place of ritual, gathering, and pilgrimage. Despite this strength, the Tiwanaku civilization did not last. Around the year 1000, the culture appears to have dissolved quickly. Archaeological evidence suggests a sudden change rather than a slow decline. Researchers believe a likely cause was an extended drought that began rapidly. When water became scarce, crop yields dropped sharply. Without enough food to support the large population, people likely scattered into nearby mountain areas. Over time, the city was abandoned. Puma Punku itself appears to have been left unfinished. Stones prepared for placement were never set into position. The builders left, and the site fell silent. In modern times, Puma Punku became the center of many false and misleading theories. It has been widely used in pseudoscience claims involving lost continents and extraterrestrial intervention. Thousands of websites and programs promote these ideas, often ignoring archaeological evidence. Archaeologist Jeb J. Card has noted that Puma Punku frequently appears in books and television programs focused on alternative archaeology, especially ancient alien theories. Supporters of these ideas often point to the fine stonework and high-altitude location as reasons to doubt human involvement. Other archaeologists strongly disagree. Alexei Vranich points out that well-preserved local precursors to Puma Punku exist. Monumental structures at sites such as Pucara and Chiripa show clear architectural development leading up to Puma Punku. These discoveries provide strong evidence against claims of extraterrestrial technology. At Chiripa, buildings similar in form to those at Puma Punku were identified as storage structures. Impressions of baskets and remains of food were found inside them. This shows that the architectural style had practical uses and developed locally over time. Vranich also emphasizes that many amateur and pseudo-archaeologists misunderstand Tiwanaku architecture. The precise geometry of the stonework is not evidence of alien help or a lost super-civilization. It is the result of human knowledge and skill developed in the Lake Titicaca Basin. In the year 2019, Franco D. Rossi of Johns Hopkins University criticized ancient alien theorists for describing the Aymara people as simple Stone Age individuals. Modern archaeology clearly rejects this idea. The Tiwanaku were skilled engineers, planners, and thinkers. Some theories suggest that Puma Punku and nearby monuments such as Akapana, Kalasasaya, Putuni, and Karakala functioned as spiritual and ritual centers. Together, they may have formed the heart of the Andean world. Pilgrims may have traveled long distances to experience their beauty and power. These structures transform the surrounding landscape. Puma Punku was integrated with Illimani Mountain, strengthening its spiritual importance. Some researchers believe that the experience of these spaces may have been intensified through the use of hallucinogenic plants. Studies of hair samples from Tiwanaku mummies found in northern Chile show traces of psychoactive substances. These substances were present even in children as young as 1 year of age. This evidence shows how deeply these practices were woven into Tiwanaku life. In the end, Puma Punku stands as a powerful reminder of human achievement. Its story is not one of aliens or lost worlds. It is a story of belief, skill, rise, and loss. The stones remain, quietly telling the truth to those willing to listen. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.